absence of this step would call into question the legality of the entire process that follows. After arrest comes the interrogation and investigation phase. U.S. law requires suspects to be fully informed of their inherent rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to legal counsel. These rights exist to prevent coercion and ensure that the truth is obtained through legal means. In the film, the girl is placed in a prolonged stressful environment where psychological pressure plays a significant role. Under U.S. law, any testimony obtained under such conditions risks being dismissed in court. Next is the decision regarding pretrial detention. In the United States, pretrial detention is not a default. The court must consider factors such as the risk of escape, the degree of danger to society, and the possibility of bail. In the film, the girl's detention does not appear to be accompanied by any public hearing. This goes against the principle that individual liberty can only be restricted when absolutely necessary and under judicial supervision. As the story moves into the prison setting, the film shifts to the human rights aspect. U.S. law, through the Third Amendment, sets clear limits on how prisoners should be treated. Prisons should not be places of human degradation. The imagery in the film depicts a heavily controlled confinement environment, leaving viewers wondering whether the line between law enforcement and psychological punishment has been blurred. A recurring theme throughout the film is the lack of transparency. In the U.S. legal system, every step of the proceedings is subject to scrutiny, from defense lawyers and judges to the press and the public. This very scrutiny fosters belief in justice. Conversely, in the girl's story, every decision seems to be made in silence, leaving the individual completely vulnerable to centralized power. In the end, the film leaves a profound question about the nature of justice. According to American legal thought, justice is not just the final outcome, but also the means by which that outcome is achieved. A verdict, whether right or wrong, loses its value if it is formed through an unfair process. Viewing the Chinese girl's story through this lens, viewers realize that the greatest value of the law lies not in punishment, but in protecting people from the arbitrariness of power. In conclusion, the film serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of the legal process. From a U.S. legal perspective, every step skipped undermines justice, and every disregarded right can lead to an unnecessary tragedy. The film opens with a Chinese girl being arrested and taken to a detention center, creating the feeling that her fate was sealed from the very first moment. However, if this situation were placed within the U.S. legal system, each step in the story would have to go through a series of strict legal checks and balances, where state power is limited by laws and courts. The arrest phase is the most crucial starting point. Under U.S. law enforcement agencies are only permitted to make arrests when there is probable cause, reasonable grounds based on specific evidence. An extraordinary warrant must be approved by a judge, except in very narrow emergency cases. In the film, the girl's abduction happens quickly, without clearly demonstrating any independent approval mechanism. Under U.S. standards, the absence of this step would call into question the legality of the entire process that follows. After arrest comes the interrogation and investigation phase. U.S. law requires suspects to be fully informed of their inherent rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to legal counsel. These rights exist to prevent coercion and ensure that the truth is obtained through legal means. In the film, the girl is placed in a prolonged stress.